Hello everyone. Among the outstanding employees of SpaceX, there was a promising new recruit named Chandler Halderson. Receiving an invitation to join SpaceX felt like the fulfillment of his lifelong dream. However, before officially beginning his career, Chandler's life took a dramatic turn due to a series of tragic events, repeatedly postponing his aspirations. First, Chandler's older brother fell ill. Then, Chandler himself narrowly avoided a severe neck injury. To make matters worse, his parents mysteriously disappeared, turning his world upside down. Chandler's parents, Bart and Krista Halderson, were the epitome of a perfect couple in the eyes of those around them. Bart, born in 1971, graduated from the University of Wisconsin and once worked at a department store in Boston. Krista was a manager at the same store, and that's where they met and fell in love. The couple married on July 31st, 1994, and later welcomed 2 sons. Krista left her managerial position to become a stay-at-home mom, while Bart climbed the corporate ladder, eventually becoming a tax director at an accounting firm. In 2014, Bart started working at the accounting firm BDO, prompting the family to relocate to a small town with a population of just 2,000 to accommodate his new job. The Haldersons settled into a comfortable middle-class life. By 2020, Bart had risen to the role of tax director, and Krista re-entered the workforce as her sons were now grown. Their older son, Mitchell, born in 1996, graduated from college and worked at a tech company. After getting engaged, he moved out to live with his fiancée. Chandler, their younger son, was born in 1998 and was studying computer engineering at Milwaukee Area Technical College, MATC, in Wisconsin, nearing graduation. Chandler was in a happy relationship with his girlfriend, Catherine, who was studying pharmacy with the goal of becoming a licensed pharmacist. The two families were close, and their relationship seemed perfect. In May 2021, Chandler received exciting news. He had been offered a job at SpaceX. Since the position was in Florida, Chandler and Catherine planned to relocate soon to accommodate his new role. However, a series of unexpected events derailed their plans. A storm of misfortunes. First, Chandler's mother, Krista, was diagnosed with a severe case of skin cancer. Then, his older brother Mitchell was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes and had to be hospitalized. These family crises forced Chandler to delay his start date at SpaceX. Less than a week later, Chandler himself was injured when he accidentally fell down the stairs while playing with his dog. He was hospitalized, and doctors warned him to avoid strenuous activities due to nerve damage in his neck, which left his legs partially numb. Things took an even worse turn when doctors advised Chandler not to drive or fly until further tests were conducted. Once again, he had to inform SpaceX of his condition and request another delay in his start date. These repeated setbacks plunged Chandler's family into a state of despair. But no one could have anticipated the nightmare that was about to unfold. A healing trip and a mysterious disappearance. To lift their spirits, Bart and Krista decided to take a getaway trip over the 4th of July holiday. Krista had inherited a vacation home from her father in White Lake, Wisconsin, a village with a population of just over 300. The drive from their home to the cabin took about 3 hours. Everything seemed normal until Bart and Krista suddenly vanished without a trace. On July 7, 2021, feeling anxious and unable to reach them, Chandler went to the police to report his parents missing. He recounted that the last time he saw them was on the evening of July 1st. The family had enjoyed a pleasant dinner together, discussing Bart and Krista's long-anticipated trip. The couple was excited about spending time outdoors and relaxing with friends. On the morning of July 2nd, Chandler woke up around 6:15 a.m. to find his parents already gone. While he thought it was unusual that their 2 cars were still parked in the garage, he assumed they had left with friends for the trip. During this time, Chandler received only one message from Krista on July 4th, which read, "We arrived safely, but the signal here is poor and it's very crowded. We plan to join the 4th of July parade today and might return home late Monday or early Tuesday. Love you." When the police saw the message, they immediately sensed something was off. According to Chandler, his parents had left on the morning of July 2nd, but the message was sent at 11:04 a.m. on July 4th, a 2-day gap. The drive from their home to White Lake took less than 3 hours, so why would it take 2 days for his parents to arrive? Chandler speculated that the message might have been sent on July 2nd, but was delayed due to poor signal. However, this explanation was implausible, as network delays in the U.S. rarely last 2 days. Moreover, the 4th of July parade in White Lake took place on July 3rd, not July 4th. Why, then, did Bart and Krista mention attending the parade a day later? With Chandler's cooperation, the police conducted a thorough search of the Halderson home. They found both of his parents' cars parked neatly in the garage. On the living room sofa, a blanket had been spread out. Chandler explained that his mother disliked having the dog jump on the furniture, so she had covered it. The police also noticed a missing pane of glass from the fireplace in the living room. Chandler claimed that on June 30th, while playing fetch with the dog indoors, the dog accidentally broke the glass. He also mentioned that he had injured his foot while cleaning up the shards, which had left the house in disarray. After some effort, he managed to tidy everything up. Overall, the house appeared clean and organized, with no immediate signs of foul play. But something about the situation didn't add up. During the investigation, detectives decided to split into 2 teams. One team examined the security cameras in the area, while the other visited neighbors, questioning Chandler's family and friends. Meanwhile, Chandler was not idle. He began knocking on doors, asking neighbors to review their security footage to see if it captured any images of his parents. Suspicion from the girlfriend. While Chandler gathered what he could, the police obtained crucial information from his girlfriend, Catherine. She revealed that Chandler's recent behavior was strange, and she suspected he was hiding something. At 6 p.m. on July 1st, Catherine had a video call with Chandler via Snapchat. He was in the shower and appeared upset. Catherine assumed it was due to his illness and struggles at SpaceX. On July 2nd, Chandler's parents were scheduled to leave for a vacation, leaving him home alone to recover. Catherine invited Chandler to her mother's farm, which featured a large lawn for dogs and a swimming pool. She thought a refreshing swim in the July heat would help him relax. Chandler agreed. At around 9 a.m. on July 2nd, Catherine and Chandler texted each other. Catherine suggested going to the supermarket after work to buy ingredients for a home-cooked meal. Chandler appreciated the idea, but declined, saying his house was too messy and suggested meeting the following evening. Catherine found this odd. They hadn't seen each other for 2 weeks, and it wasn't like Chandler to decline when his parents weren't home. She started feeling uneasy. She recalled Chandler mentioning that he had accidentally cut his foot while cleaning up broken glass from a fireplace screen, which his dog had knocked over. Interestingly, Chandler had told the police the glass broke on June 30th, but Catherine remembered it happening on a different day. When Catherine asked about his injury, Chandler said it was just a deep cut, and he was bleeding heavily. He asked her to buy some bandages and bring over a mop from her house. Upon reviewing security footage, police confirmed Catherine's story. On July 2nd, she was seen at a supermarket and later returning home to grab the mop. At 7:02 p.m., she arrived at Chandler's house. Over dinner, they made hamburgers together. Catherine noticed Chandler seemed distracted and even burned himself while cooking. On Saturday, July 3rd, Catherine had plans with her family, so the couple didn't meet. They continued chatting via Snapchat, and Chandler said he was taking out the trash. Later, Chandler abruptly stopped replying. Feeling suspicious, Catherine used Snapchat's location sharing feature and saw he was by the river. She took a screenshot and asked why he was there. Chandler replied that he was feeling pain in his foot and was out buying pain relief oil. Catherine wasn't sure whether to believe him, but decided to let it go. July 4th, Independence Day. On July 4th, Chandler received a message from his mother. Catherine and Chandler planned to visit her mother's farm, where he swam in the pool and said it helped ease his foot pain. The next day, July 5th, Chandler told Catherine he had a doctor's appointment. When Catherine suggested a video call, Chandler claimed the clinic had poor Wi-Fi and that he was about to undergo a CT scan. Police later analyzed cell tower data and confirmed Chandler had not visited any clinic. That afternoon, Chandler called Catherine's parents, leaving a voicemail. "Good afternoon. I received some bad news from the doctor, and I'd like to stop by. I've just left the pool and would like to see everyone. Today's not been my day. Please call me back. Thank you." Without waiting for a reply, Chandler arrived at Catherine's house 10 minutes later. He tearfully shared that the doctor said his leg paralysis might be permanent. Worse, SpaceX had contacted him to say they could no longer hire him due to delayed responses. Chandler had officially lost his dream job. Catherine's parents comforted him, offering to help him find a new job and stay at their house temporarily. They advised him not to lose hope and to face life's challenges positively. Chandler thanked them, but remained despondent and went to the pool to clear his head. After an hour, Catherine's parents checked on him, but couldn't find him at the pool. Fearing he might harm himself, they searched the farm and eventually spotted his car near some bushes with the trunk open. Chandler emerged shirtless from the bushes and returned to the pool without answering their questions. Suspicious behavior. Detectives found Chandler's behavior increasingly suspicious. They decided to focus their search on two areas: the riverside grass and the spot where Chandler's car had been parked. Meanwhile, another team reviewing security footage uncovered a breakthrough. The last sighting of Chandler's mother, Krista, was on July 1st after work, when she was seen at a supermarket. Footage showed Krista returning home at 5:13 p.m. At 7:02 a.m. on July 2nd, Krista's car was seen leaving the house. By 7:21 a.m., Chandler was recorded at a Fleet Farm store, purchasing a large tarp. At 7:31 a.m., he returned home. This evidence contradicted Chandler's earlier statement that he woke up at 6:15 a.m. on July 2nd and found his parents already gone. No cameras captured his parents leaving the house, nor was there any record of a car picking them up. When investigators pieced together all the evidence, their suspicions about Chandler Halderson as the primary suspect only grew stronger. On July 8th, police deployed 4 patrol cars outside his home. Chandler, noticing the police presence, began to show signs of anxiety. Meanwhile, investigators contacted the White Lake Police Department, which oversaw the area where the family's vacation property was located, asking for their assistance in checking for any updates. Mitchell, Chandler's older brother, drove to the vacation home upon learning about their parents' disappearance. When police arrived at the property, they found the house surrounded by overgrown weeds and no evidence of recent vehicle activity, suggesting no one had been there recently. They knocked, but no one answered. After forcing entry, they discovered the house was filled with dust and showed clear signs of abandonment. Discovery of the victims' bodies. Other investigators, instead of heading to the vacation home, had uncovered a critical lead. Near the Wisconsin River, they found the remains of Krista Halderson, more precisely, her severed legs. Meanwhile, at a field near a barn, police followed tracks leading into the woods, where they discovered the mutilated remains of Bart Halderson. His body was decapitated and missing both arms and legs. Forensic analysis concluded that Bart had been shot in the back with what appeared to be a rifle. Nearby, police found a black plastic tub containing a blood-stained tarp with Bart's DNA, and an abandoned gas can nearby held scissors and a saw, both with traces of the victim's blood. 1 week later, on July 14th, additional parts of Krista's dismembered legs were discovered near the Wisconsin River, a location Chandler was known to frequent. Chandler's arrest and the digital evidence. Chandler was immediately brought in for questioning. Upon examining his computer, investigators found that at 9:45 a.m. on July 8th, he had searched terms like Wisconsin River and female body found. At the time, the police had not yet released any details about the ongoing investigation, further implicating Chandler. The trial and motive. On September 1st, 2021, Chandler stood trial, denying all 8 charges against him. Prosecutors presented damning evidence, including bloodstains in the basement, a fragment of a human skull burned in the fireplace, Krista's shoe, and the victim's phones, meticulously wrapped and hidden. Cell phone records indicated that a text message had been sent from the Halderson home on July 4th. The murder weapon, an SKS rifle gifted to Chandler by a friend on June 12th, was found at the farm's barn. Surveillance footage suggested that the murders occurred on the afternoon of July 1st. Prosecutors alleged that Chandler had used the fireplace to dispose of his parents' remains before discarding the rest at different locations. Chandler's motive appeared to stem from a web of lies he had spun about his education and career. Investigators discovered that he had fabricated stories about being offered a job at SpaceX, interning at an insurance company, and even graduating from Madison Area Technical College, MATC. In reality, Chandler had only completed one semester at MATC before dropping out, spending the following years pretending to attend classes, intern, and search for work, all while playing video games at home. On July 1st, Bart called MATC to inquire about Chandler's academic progress, learning the truth about his son's deception. Following the call, Bart messaged Chandler, saying, "I'm ready. Come over anytime." As a meticulous tax director, Bart had scheduled a meeting with Chandler at 3 p.m. that day. The last known communication between them was a phone call around 3:30 p.m. After that, both Bart and Krista vanished. Conviction and sentencing. On January 26, 2022, the jury deliberated for just 2 hours before finding Chandler Halderson guilty on all counts. He was convicted of 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide, providing false information about a missing person, dismemberment, and hiding corpses. On March 17, 2022, Chandler was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In court, he showed no remorse, his expression devoid of guilt for the heinous crimes he had committed against his own parents. The tragic irony. Despite his lies, Chandler came from a loving, supportive family with a stable financial background. Bart and Krista Halderson had provided him with every opportunity to thrive. Chandler also had a beautiful and intelligent girlfriend, Catherine, who stood by him during tough times. On the surface, his life seemed almost perfect, yet it was his own web of deceit that led to his downfall. In his computer, investigators found evidence that Bart and Krista had life insurance policies, with Chandler and his brother as beneficiaries. While it remains unclear if financial gain was part of his motive, Chandler's actions reflect the desperation of someone too ashamed to face the consequences of his lies. Unlike the stereotypical criminal raised in traumatic environments, Chandler had every reason to feel fortunate. Yet, when confronted with the truth, he chose violence over accountability. And that concludes today's video. What are your thoughts on this chilling case of patricide and matricide? Share your opinions in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.